I don't know if I look nervous.
No, you're cool.
Yeah, okay, I'm super nervous. The first thing we would like to ask you, as huge fans, I know you've heard that a lot, that people are very inspired by you. What can you tell those beginners or people that are already in music business on how to develop innovation, on how to work their musical identity? Well, is that even something that you can develop?
No, you can't teach innovation. You just have to be yourself and follow your heart. For me, the way I created my style was just having so many different styles that I liked and listened to, everything from prog to metal to punk to classic rock, and put it all in a giant melting pot. And then once you have a lot of variety in that melting pot, then that's what creates your own style. People that are just like Mike Portnoy fans and just know how to go, they're not going to have their own style. They're going to sound like, Mike Portnoy.
Like Mike Portnoy,
yeah.
Yes.
So it's important to have lots of influences and lots of styles and try to gather from all of them. And but as far as creativity goes, I mean, you just have to want to do that. You just have to have passion and ideas and work with other musicians that inspire you to try new challenges.
I would like to ask you, you work a lot with Neal Morse, right?
Yeah.
And I think you guys manage that a lot. I can see that you guys show a lot of things from your hearts.
Mm-hmm.
And is he someone that is special to work with, you think?
Well, Neal and I have a very, very special relationship. We've done 22 studio albums together.
Oh.
Yeah, and we're
including Transatlantic,
Flying Colors, Neal Morse Band, the Neal Morse solo albums, cover to cover. We've done 22 studio albums. And then if you count the live albums, it's probably like 40 or 50. So, it's probably the longest relationship I've had. I've made way more music with him than with Dream Theater. So Neal is probably, the most musical collaborator I've had in my whole career. And not only that, not only have we made so much music together, but we're, we have a very personal really bond as well.
Oh, that's cool.
When he left Spock's Beard, I was there for him. When I left Dream Theater, he was there for me. And, so we have a lot of mutual respect for each other, and that's why we have such a great relationship.
We would like to ask you about the tour. So when did it all appear in your life? Like, because we said, Mike Portnoy, Noturnall, voltasse. So how did it end up together?
About a year ago, I started getting emails from the band or somebody representing the band asking if I could play on a song, Scream For Me. It turned into Scream For Me. And at the time, I wasn't sure if I would have any studio time available. I was doing a lot of different things. But when I was in the studio making the new Sons of Apollo album in January, my sessions ended like a day earlier than I thought they would. So I told the band, okay, I'm available. I could do this song for you. So I did the song and shot the video footage that's, from the studio that they used in the video.
Yes.
And then once they had that, maybe a month or two later, somebody from the band contacted me asking if I would be interested in doing some shows in Brazil. And I wasn't sure if I'd be available because I'm juggling like 6 of my own bands. But it turns out that, that the window that they offered was good for me, and it worked out good that I could do it. So, yeah, and for me, it's a lot of fun reuniting with Mike Orlando, who I used to play together in Adrenaline Mob with.
Yes.
And getting to play with these guys, and getting to revisit some Dream Theater songs and some Adrenaline Mob songs, and above all, get to play for the great Brazilian fans who I love so much.
Oh, cool.
And I hadn't made it to Brazil in 2019, so it worked out perfect.
Yes.
I can't skip a year without coming here, so it worked out perfect.
Do you come here every year since when? Since 2005?
Maybe, yeah.
Because I was in this concert in Rio.
Yeah.
You came with Dream Theater, I think. I was 17 and I ran away without my father knowing it.
Really? Well,
yes.
my first time here was 97. I mean, I've played here with Dream Theater, Adrenaline Mob, Avenged Sevenfold, Neal Morse Band, Transatlantic, Fate's Warning, Stone Sour, Shattered Fortress, probably more than I'm forgetting, but you know, I come here every year with one band or another, and it's always my favorite audience in the world.
Oh, that's so nice to hear. We're
Oh,
almost
Winery
finishing.
Dogs and Sons of Apollo. I forgot them too.
Yeah, you came like last year with Sons of Apollo
So
here.
I think that's 10 different bands I've played here with, and now Noturnall will be my 11th different band to play with.
How many bands do you think a drummer can have in a healthy way? Because I
Two.
have 4.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yes,
I was going to say
I know.
2. I have 6. I mean, I don't count Noturnall as one of my bands. This is just a guest appearance. But other than
It's half of a band, if you
maybe a quarter.
a quarter.
But I have
All
6
right.
of my own bands right now, and that's not. You're saying how many is healthy? 6 is not healthy.
6
no,
is not
I would
healthy?
not recommend that.
All
no.
right. Are you the manager of all the bands you participate
No,
in?
not at all. I'm the manager of myself, but different bands have different record companies, different booking agents, different managers. So, of the 6 different bands I'm in, there's lots of different components. But I'm my own manager. Like if somebody wants to book me or, you know, come to me and try to get me to do something, they go to me. I don't have a manager.
But regarding composition, like, do you come with something? Do you come up with something and say, "Oh, this is a Flying Colors thing," or like, "This is a Neal Morse band thing"?
Well, actually, now that you mention it, all 6 of my bands, I'm a co-writer in all of them. So every one of them, it's all about the collaboration. So with Flying Colors, it's Neal, Casey, Dave, and Steve. With Metal Allegiance, it's me and Alex Skolnick, David Ellis, and Mark Mengi. With Winery Dogs, it's me and Billy and Richie. And Sons of Apollo, me and Derek and Bumblefoot. So in each case,
Always in group.
always in groups, always in person, always collaborating. Never like done like via internet, nothing like that.
That's why you're different.
Well, because to me, like
Yes.
the only reason I have any interest in playing with all these people is because you want to mix that chemistry, the writing
Oh my
chemistry.
God, I just love his
Yeah.
answers.
And but
That's why you're so inspiring.
but in terms of my contributions, I'm always like the director and the arranger. I'm not the type that comes in, here's my ideas. Like most of my bands, it'll be like I'm just finished a Transatlantic album. So with Neal, Royna, and Pete, like Neal, Royna, and Pete would each send a lot of ideas and demos beforehand, and then we come together, and they always rely on me. All of these bands kind of rely on me to be the one that organizes it and say, okay, let's use, you know, idea 5B for the verse, and Pete, you had that great theme, let's use that for the bridge. And all of my bands kind of look to me to be like the producer, like that way, and kind of, because I'm just very OCD, so I have that kind of mind that just has to keep everything organized. And
Oh my God.
so I'm kind of like the guy that's responsible for the arrangements and things like that.
Okay, we know your biggest influences include Neil Peart and right.
Mhm.
Then you're a double pedal reference too, as well, to the drummers to study.
Just
Which
keep
were the
mixing
drummers that
them.
influenced you on that?
For a double bass specifically?
Yes.
Well, specifically for double bass, I started playing double bass in the early 80s. So the only guys playing double bass at that point were like Tommy Lee from Motley Crue and Tommy Aldridge with Ozzy, Phil Taylor and Motorhead, except, you know, like the early 80s, that was the only double bass there was. I mean, you had people like Neil Peart playing 2 kick drums, but they weren't playing like double bass beats and stuff like that. So the real double bass drummers were the more early metal drummers, and then came the thrash drummers, but I was already playing double bass at that point. But then came Dave Lombardo and Lars Ulrich and Charlie Benante. But at that point, I was already pretty developed on my own at that point.
Are you aware that your identity also, like as you said, that when you compose in groups, that you want to interact with the guys and create something? Are you aware that we can feel that? Like I'm like in a small town in Brazil, and then when I listen to something that you participate in, I feel like, is that Mike Portnoy? Not necessarily for technique.
Right. No, for passion and for ideas.
Passion, yes.
Character and personality. To me, character and personality is 10 times more important than technique. To me, I would rather be up there and interact with the people and feel that energy and let the tempos push and pull, because that's way more important than perfect technique. I didn't become a drummer to be perfect. I became a drummer to express myself and make music with other people.
That's so beautiful.
And when people can recognize it or hear it, that's what makes it all worth it. So
I
So
know.
thank you. I hope people realize it's not about technique because I like just a few days ago I posted on my website, Modern Drummer did a thing like 50 greatest drummers of all time. First of all, I don't think there's such thing as best or greatest. It's only the people that move you and people that you like. There's only
Yes.
favorites.
Oh my God!
So,
Look at this guy.
but like on this list, I was number 11, which was amazing, and all the people before me were like Ringo Starr, Keith Moon, John Bonham, Buddy Rich, and then everyone online is like Ringo Starr, like that's bullshit. He can't play
Yeah.
drums. To me, it's not about technique. It's about influence. Like Ringo's influence is immeasurable. Like I wouldn't be playing drums if it wasn't for somebody like Keith Moon or Ringo Starr. Even somebody like Peter Criss, it doesn't matter if they can play all these double bass things and fast things. To me, all those drummers were at the bottom of the list. It was more about the drummers that had like an influence and an impact, and that's not always technique that has that.
Which would be your dream band with dead or alive members? And the Beatles can't be included because we know you are a fan of the Beatles. So
So they have to be an existing band, and then I could just fill in or sit in. You mean
yeah, no, you can create your own band. Like it would-
different members?
Different members,
Oh, different
yes.
members. I think I've done them already. Flying
Oh
Colors
my
and Metal Allegiance and Sons of Apollo. Those are my dream bands.
I love this answer. It was the best one.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean,
Cool.
I've had the
Okay.
privilege of working with all the musicians I've ever wanted to work with. But if I could sit in with any band, because I've been able to sit in with Avenged Sevenfold and with Twisted Sister and Stone Sour and all these bands. So if I could sit in with any existing band, I would say either Rush or Metallica.
Whoa, that's impressive.
So-
Rush or Metallica, such
so-
different genres.
Well, that's who I am. It's about all those different things that I like. Yeah.
Awesome. Do you still sit down and study?
No.
How do you keep yourself going and
A
warmed up?
lot of coffee and Red Bull.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I play drums for a living. I'm in 6 different bands. I'm always in the studio or touring. So when I'm home, honestly, the last thing I want to do is play drums. I have my children, I have my family, I have my wife, my dog, I have my TV shows that I want to watch. Like,
Yeah.
when I do this for a living, like, I need to get away from it to stay inspired.
Is there any song that you've recorded that you think you could do something different, that you don't feel satisfied by it?
No.
No, it's all
If I
your
wasn't
heart is
if I
all in
wasn't
it.
satisfied, it either wouldn't have come out or I'd still be working on it.
Do you want to be part of my band?
Number
Here
7.
in the number 7. My band number 5. Just kidding. Or not. I don't know if he says yes.